longtime viewers comment on the fact that I've already made a video on this guy. That video is old, is bad, and it needs a redo. So this is the Transformers Legacy Evolution Transmetal 2 Beast Wars Megatron. And he is quite the big boy. He is a leader class, so that means he's got all the leader class thingamajigs. Like size being one. He's very hefty. But let's get into some of the closer detail. The head sculpt is pretty toy accurate. And then you got the normal arm, the dragon arm, you got the asymmetrical legs. Turning him around to the back, the only piece of back kibble he has is the chest of the dragon mode, which is kind of hidden behind his singular dreadlock. So he's very detailed. So now let's move on to articulation. Head swivels. There's no ball joint there, and due to the way it transforms, that makes sense. Shoulders ratchet all the way around on both sides. Humanoid arm can go out. Bicep rotation. Double bend at the elbow, and a sword-wielding wrist, just wrist down. Then this arm has a hinge joint here, and then ball joint, ball joint, ball joint, ball joint, ball joint, which allows for this to do really just a lot. Then, of course, you then get a ratcheted waist, can go all the way around. Get ratcheted hips. Go forwards and backwards, in and out on friction hinges. Say thigh rotation. Very good bend at the knee, basically all the way. And then the feet can pivot up all the way. You can pivot back pretty much all the way, and can tilt from side to side. And he's got big feet, which means he will be stable in pretty much any pose that you put him in. Yeah, pretty much any pose you can get this guy in, he will be stable for it. Accessory-wise, he only comes with one accessory due to him being this style of leader class, and that accessory is fire, a blast effect. So he can either hold this in his hand and utilize the sword-wielding wrist, or you can peg it into that port in the back of the Dragon Mode's mouth. Hey! So, you can do that. You can get a lot of poses out of this guy. So, we are going to do a posing montage. Starting now. So there's your posing montage. Now, let's move on to size comparisons, because I do have other Legacy Beast Wars figures, of which I shall compare Megatron to. So first up, we're going to compare him to his Predacons. Here we have Sandstorm. Basically just Scorponok, which, not the greatest figure. Here we have Predacon Inferno. Please don't fall. There we go. Now for the Maximals. We have Leo Prime. I do not have the only Optimus Primal figure I have is the Studio Series, and I'm not going to compare this next to a Studio Series. And Tasmanian Kid. Tasmania Kid. So now let us turn to Megatron's transformation. Megatron, terrorize! Or, that was a bad impression. Let's terrorize him. So, first thing I like to do is get the wings out. So, these wings are interesting. So, see, that's there and that's in there. So, once that catches that, it's attached to that wing assembly. And then there are more catches throughout the entire wing, which basically means you can just grab this part of the wing and unfold the entire thing. Of course, some adjustment will be necessary to make sure it's all there, but there you got the wings folded out, and that makes them look massive. Now for the transformation. Do that, and then the head will slide. Then you take this, it's on an armature, so just kind of fully extend that out. Then what you're going to want to do is fold this piece out. Make sure you bring down these panels. Fold this up. There's this tab which will go into a slot on the shoulder. So just slap that in. Bring the fist down. And then this big old tab will go into that big old slot. And then this will cover up the fist. Take this entire assembly and rotate it upward. Bring those panels back. Rotate the head. Bring it up until it soft clicks. Boom. Now for dragon arms. Bring out the claws. Bring out the arm. And just kind of straighten that out. I like how the dragon arms hide in the chest. And then there are these two tabs on either side that'll peg into these two slots here. So just slide those into place. Make sure these two tabs on the neck are resting in those two slots. Now we can split this assembly. This slot will go into that tab. And then compress this. Then as you can clearly see, there are an array of tabs and slots and ports and pegs that'll all peg into each other. And then these two slots will go into these two tabs up here on the chest. So just snap that in. Then crunch the legs. Take the feet, shift these assemblies out. And do the same thing on the other side. Straighten up the tail. Put him down. And boom. Dragon mode. And this is a really cool looking dragon mode, that's for sure. The head sculpt looks really good. Most of this detail is detail we saw in the robot mode, but there is some amount of new detail, like the new chest, which looks really nice. But other than that, it's pretty much all the same detail that we saw in the robot mode. And dragon mode articulation isn't a slouch either. Head, same amount of articulation. Arms can rotate. They can go in and out. There's a bicep rotation, elbow bend, and a wrist swivel and hinge. No waist joint, but with these hinge joints out of the legs, you do get one extra joint for the leg. And then the tail, you got a hinge joint here. Okay, that's Megatron's head. You got a hinge joint here, and then a ball joint, ball joint, ball joint. So, can get him into very expressive poses. Now, we are going to do size comparisons. This is very difficult for me to fit in my little recording studio here, but size comparisons. Here we have Predacon Sandstorm, who you can hardly see. That is good. This is not a good figure. I don't really enjoy transforming it or really just messing around with it in general. Here we have Inferno, who also you can hardly see. But here's the Ant-Man. And another figure I don't like screwing around with is Tasmanian Kid. This transformation is way too complicated for a core class, and tolerances on mine are not good whatsoever. I got a bad copy. Please do not make me review this thing. Then we have Leo Prime. So now we are going to do a quick little time-lapse transformation. So that way we can do our final comparisons. I mean, not comparisons, final thoughts. If you're a Beast Wars fan, get it. It is cropping up at Targets recently, or my Target at least, and I think some others, I don't know. But if you like Beast Wars, I say get this thing. And quick little announcement, this is probably going to be in my community tab, but I'm going to say it here. School starts for me soon, so my upload schedule is going to be different. It's probably going to be one video every weekend if I can do that, but just bear with me. Life happens, and yeah, and there may be a situation in which I can't upload on any given weekend. It could happen. So if that does happen, just bear with me, all right? Thank you, and bye-bye.